What's up, guys? All right, let's see here. We got a lot of good games on tonight. All right, let's see which game we want to run into here. Louisville beating UNC again. Holy cow! Wake making it look easy. Yeah, I mean, it's still. I mean, what is it? Still 3-0? Yeah, it's 3-0. I know Wake's. We're gonna jinx it. Let's jinx it. No, Wake's no hitting Miami. Wake's no hitting Miami. UNC lost again, man. Louisville takes them down. Clemson with a really tight game against Notre Dame, barely wins that. Georgia did take the lead over Kentucky, so my upset of the week here is looking still in pretty good shape. Kentucky's at 1 run back. So that will be, yeah. Florida Tennessee is really good. I'm pulling that up right now if I can find it. Oh, of course I clicked on one. Where is it? Is that on what channel is that on? That's not on ESPN, I think, which makes sense. Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, I found it now. Why was that not showing up? No, I agree with you, man. Louisville's a good team, and they got it's a great coaching staff, right? Like, they're going to be well coached. And again, I think there is somewhat like, there's definitely like an SEC bias in like the preseason rankings and stuff, and I just think like you have a lot of teams that are on the outside of the top 25 right now, like Louisville, like Georgia Tech. That again are playing way better than they were projected, and like Georgia Tech beats Pitt tonight 10-1. Like Georgia Tech really, I mean, that was exactly when I was talking about what the way you want the game to go on Friday if you're going to sweep. It was exactly the way you wanted to see it. Big lead. Tate McKee goes 6 innings. You're able to bring in, a kind of you basically use one arm. You don't use any of your like top arms, like just a perfect game for like literally like exactly how you draw it up type game. And I do think the big thing for Tate McKee was like he's throwing fastballs early, getting some first pitch outs. Oh my gosh, what a terrible route by Florida's right fielder, man. That was, I don't know what the right fielder is doing. I don't know if you guys are watching the Florida game. Well, let me pull the chat up on screen. Sorry, boys. Kansas looks good. Yeah, they do. I'm just watching this replay on the right fielder. Oh, they're not showing it now, but look, I mean, it looked like he kind of like froze. Like he didn't immediately think that's going over his head. Canes, I'm taking the Barry Bonds approach. All right, tell me more. Zach, Georgia Tech looked good today. We're making contact. The other 8 guys are just getting us out. We just need to keep swinging. Okay. And that happens, man. That happens where you just run like you have a tough run out where like you're hitting balls well. They're just right at guys. Look at this guy. Tennessee's lineup is just ridiculous. You think Georgia Tech can host a regional? I do, and I'll say this, Zach. I do think I think they're a much better pitching team this year. Again, even with like the issues on Saturday and Sunday's starters, just like generally speaking, they're a way better team. And their offense is in that elite category. So I do think they are. And then you on top of that, you add in the fact that like they have a very favorable ACC schedule, like ACC conference schedule in general. Like you don't play Wake, you don't play UNC, you don't play Florida State. And again, UNC's, they're 1-3 in ACC right now, but they're going to be a really good team at the end of the day. Tennessee adds on another run. So I say all that to like, there's multiple reasons why I think they can, because you have that favorable schedule and the offense is really elite. And then the pitching staff is like very, very noticeably improved. Just very, very noticeably improved. So all of that combined, I think if they play like they can, that's definitely a possibility. Kansas is very good. Did you see them hit 5 straight home runs and beat Minnesota? Yeah, that was crazy. I joked in like our Elite Sports Advising group chat, because we were obviously like we're all watching college baseball, like we're friends with the coaches, so like we're following our friends' teams and stuff. And that was sent in the group chat, that video of the 5 home runs, and I said when you're a pitching coach in that scenario, like you're just like after the 4th home run in a row, you're just like walkie-talking down, just like, all right, whatever you want, man, just call whatever you want. Those are the games where you just like, there's nothing you can do but just like flush it and like convince your team that nothing we can do about it. I'm interested to see Duke and Stanford. Yeah, I am too. Because I think, like, again, like Duke, the win condition for Duke and like their season outlook is, can they get their starting pitching going and pitching like they were supposed to pitch preseason? Because right now it's just been nothing close to that. And again, like you have slow starts, and you have slow starts. So they, AJ Garcia is obviously like one of their biggest bats projected this year. Didn't even play in the midweek and is hitting abysmally, like 167 or something. So I do think if he's hurt, maybe that's why. Maybe they were just giving him the day off. Say, hey, you know what, man, just like relax. I don't know why he didn't play. But like if he's not in the game, if he's not on the, in the lineup and he's not playing, that's tough. And then the starting pitching has just been not great, right? So Tennessee takes a 2-run lead. He's due. Merrick Houston up with the bases loaded and 1 out, about to break the game open. I'm going to switch over. Perfect. It's right here. I got it on now. It's Robert. Oh my. Wait, what was the count there? I can just tell you, and I'll say this, Canes. I can tell you from Robert's facial expressions, mannerisms on the mound, like he is not mentally tough. Like, watch how he looks after he gives this up. He goes 2-1 count. I mean, that was crushed. That was crushed. Yeah, it's probably and Wake is a launching pad. So like, I mean, like they're going to be looking for breaking balls up and stuff like that. Is LSU good enough to win it all this year, Nolan? Good question. I think definitely. I think definitely they're a team that all around has the opportunity. It's first weekend of SEC play, and they're playing probably the lowest ranked team in the SEC. So like this weekend, you're not going to learn much about LSU. The competition they've played so far has been not good. But again, a lot of teams do that. So I think you have to watch. You just have to see how they progress this season. Because I'm going to turn off the Miami Wake Forest game now. I do think LSU, again, they're number one in the country right now. I don't think they're the number one team. I think they're certainly 3 or 4 until proven otherwise. I think Tennessee's number 1. I think Florida State's number 2. Just to be honest, even with Florida State losing to Florida in the midweek, a midweek loss has the least bearing, especially against another top 5 team in University of Florida. Midweek, it's it's almost like it doesn't really matter as much than a weekend loss. So I still think Florida State, on the weekend, is going to be very hard to beat. Very hard to beat. Post-game show will be interesting. Hey, there's still game left, man. There's still game left. Yeah, but it's not starting out too hot. I just think I think Robert can't be Friday. Not from what I've seen. All I had to do was see that swing and how he reacted to it, and it was just the softest thing I've ever seen. Merrick Houston, ACC Player of the Year, seems like a lock. Yeah, I mean, it's early, right? He could just fall on his face here, but he's looking definitely a front runner for sure. And you're a really good defender too. Dude, look how deep these guys play. I was noticing that today in the Georgia Tech game. Pitt's center fielder, he was basically playing on the track the whole game. He was basically playing on the track the whole game. And deep fly balls, he's running in on. So think about it like this. Maybe there's another reason why batting averages are up is because outfielders are literally playing so deep. So many singles are falling in. So many singles are falling in. Cougs, what's up, man? What's up? What's up, dude? We're just watching some games. I'm watching Tennessee, Florida. I'm actually really bad luck for Miami. I literally tuned in. I'm not kidding this. I tuned in. The next pitch, hanging breaking ball, Merrick Houston grand slam. Sorry, Canes. That was the first pitch I saw. The first pitch I saw, it's hanging breaking ball and just. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised just watching his swing if Wake is relaying a tip or something, because he did not look fooled on that in a 2-1 count. It was like he was sitting on it. Because like you said, Canes, that one was kind of just above the zone, probably a ball. It could go both ways, but it's probably a ball. And so typically Like a hanging breaking ball is one that lands like middle of the zone, right? It lands middle of the zone. It's crossing kind of near the top. So if it lands just above the zone, that's crossing pretty high up. Not obviously not this high, but you know what I mean? It's crossing like here. And so for him to like have no hesitation, not freeze at all on that, to me, that's like they're relaying a tip. They're relaying pitches. But I could be wrong. But that's just kind of like usually when I see swings like that on pitches where it's like, man, he really saw that good out of the hand. $6,200 fans at Tennessee. Like, it's just amazing to think about where Tennessee's program is at now than when Vitello got there. Like, they were literally bottom of the SEC for a decade. Not a winning record in conference, or I think in the regular season in like 10 years. Which is just insane. We are down 3-1. Good games so far. No more Miami games for you. Yeah, I guess I can't watch them. What's the inning, Cougs? What's the inning? But this is like the best part of the season because like the SEC's finally in conference play. So it's just like every weekend for SEC and ACC, like every series is going to be great. Let me actually find out. All right, so Virginia plays Cal at 9 tonight. Duke, Stanford. Let's see how Florida State's doing. Alabama's beating A&M in the bottom of the 7th. I picked Alabama to win that, which again, I think that's pretty fair pick. Like, it's a pretty easy pick. Alabama's been just dominant all year. And A&M's been very not consistent. Florida State's up 8-1. Like I said, man, I just think Florida State is going to be so hard to beat on the weekend. Right? Like, it's going to be like impossible to beat them on Friday unless you beat the bullpen. Let's look at the box. Home stats. And Jamie Arnold didn't even pitch. Valini pitched six innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs. I think they're just sticking with the way the rotation is now, and potentially moving him back to Friday over the next week or two. I haven't seen it. That would be announced, I think, if he was hurt. I think he's probably just going to pitch Sunday, I guess. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. I don't think he's hurt. I think that would be Kendall Rogers would be tweeting that out as like immediately if that was the case. So I don't think he's hurt. I just think he's I think they, with like the weather, the canceled game because of weather and everything, I think it's just like, all right, we'll just pitch him on Sunday this weekend. And again, I think you want your best guy going Friday when you have 2 other really good weekend starters. It's one thing, like in Miami's case, with like, if you think Griffin Hughes is your number 1, maybe you can pitch him on Saturday. There's an argument for that because if you split Friday, Saturday, you win Sunday, you win every series. And if you feel like there's a big gap between your number 1 and your number 2 and 3, like maybe you don't, there's like strategy in thinking that we don't want to waste our number 1 versus another number 1. Like, let's face our number 1 against number 2, and they can throw their number 1 against our number 2. It negates your ability to sweep though when you do that, like pretty in a pretty big way. So I think they're just like, I don't know. I don't think he's hurt, but I do think if he is healthy, like you want him pitching Fridays, especially when you're facing like the top teams, because like they're gonna have good Friday arms as well. But this is the best time in college baseball, man, because this is when it all matters. This is when like you find out who the dogs are. This is when you find out who the dogs are. Like there's a lot of guys who do really great before conference play, and then conference play starts, and the added pressure, the higher quality competition, they fall apart. Like most hitters, guys, like think about this. Most hitters are going to hit worse in conference than they do in non-conference. Right? My freshman year, my sophomore year, I hit higher in conference than I did in non-conference. So like you find out who the really good players are in conference because they actually get better. They actually start putting up better numbers. Let me see if this is all right. It's not updated yet, but I was looking at Georgia Tech stats. Top of the eighth in Tennessee-Florida game. UCI rained out tonight for SoCal. We've had a lot of rain. Yeah, I've heard that. I'm working with a few guys over there in SoCal, and that's what every one of my clients, like dads and them, are saying. Like they're like, dude, we're getting so much rain now, and we need it. Like we need it bad. So like they're like like it sucks. We're getting rained out of games, but like we need this rain bad. So it's like that's a good thing. NC State's starting to get hot. Yeah, 10 straight wins for NC State. Kind of snuck up on us too. Like if you had asked me, all right, hey, how many games has NC State won in a row? I would have said like 5. You know what I mean? It's kind of like snuck up on us. But yeah, they dominated tonight. They dominated, guys. I don't know if you guys saw the score, but Auburn beating Vandy 6-2. But let's see. NC State beat Virginia Tech 11-1. Now they're at home, but I'm surprised by that, man, because Virginia Tech's Friday guy was good. So I don't know what, and we'll look at the box score. Let's split the window here so I can still watch the Tennessee game as well. Yeah, they run ruled them. I know it's like. Dude, Renfro he must have got crushed. Looking at it, so okay, they brought in some subs and everything. Holy cow. Wait, maybe they didn't. Let me see. It's just crazy. Like, let's look at the home stats. The offense has really turned it around. I'll say that. The offense has really turned it around. We'll look at the stats, but they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Or wait. 1, 2. There's pinch runners in here. 3, 4, 5. 5 of their starters are hitting over 300 now. McHugh, their first baseman's hitting 422. And here's a big thing for NC State. Dominic Fritton went 7 innings, complete game, 2 hits given up, 2 walks. Dominant, straight dominant. 1.26 ERA. So he has really come around. He's really solidified his spot. Likewise, Renfro actually didn't pitch bad. He went 4 2/3. I mean, he pitched okay. 4 2/3. 4 earned runs given up, only walked 1 guy, gave up 2 home runs. So like, he did not pitch terribly, but just gave up a couple home runs. And then the bullpen gave it up in the back end. So the bullpen really let them down, but their offense did nothing. But yeah, NC State's kind of finding its, and like I told you guys, NC State, usually they start slow in conference, but they started really slow preseason. So that could be a bad sign for the ACC because they won their first series and then they're up 1-0 on Virginia Tech. That could be a bad sign for the ACC if they found their form. Again, I still think like on paper, they're not as good as they were kind of described and ranked early. I don't think that way, but I still think they're like like a back end top 25 team if they play like they can, if they really pitch. If they really pitch. Is D1 Baseball's website like messed up again now? No, it's not. Okay. Ole Miss beating Arkansas as well at home. Big win for Ole Miss. Big win for Ole Miss. LSU, 12 beats Missouri 12-5. Everyone kind of expected that. Texas beat Mississippi State in Starkville. Georgia now up 9-6 on Kentucky. Auburn beating Vandy 6-2. Has Miami got a hit yet, Zach? Or Canes? My boy Matthew Shorey went 1 inning for Vandy. 1 inning, no runs, no hits, no walks. Good for him. Thompson gave up all the runs for Vandy, and that's the most he's been hit all year. Gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings. Only walked 2, but gave up 5 hits and 3 Ks. Only gave up 1 double as well. So just a lot of singles against Thompson. Anyone staying up to watch Stanford Duke? Yeah, we'll watch some of them. We'll watch some of it for sure. Wake has 3 home runs. We have 2 hits. Yeah, that's tough to win. Alabama. Now let's go look at the Alabama game. Alabama A&M. One out walk, but for Tennessee. A&M actually hitting pretty well. They've got A&M's. Well, they've got 6 hits. So Jace Lavalette has 2 hits though. That's big if they can get him going. Still hitting just 259 on the year. Alabama only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. I'm assuming for a lot of damage. Alabama's starting pitcher has gone 8 2/3 innings. I think that's maybe on the season. Yeah, it's on the season. I was about to say, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, but I don't like this setup they have for this. Anyway, Alabama winning on the road at A&M, which is a tough place to win. Tough place to play. Alabama has two 2-run bombs. Yeah, they've got 4 hits, I think, on the day. Abernathy for Tennessee is just showing bunt and then taking fastballs right down the middle. A&M just tied it up. That'll be a big win if A&M can actually win it, right? Because again, it's like they've really struggled so far, but I'm still concerned with the run production. They're just not scoring a lot of runs. And like I said, if you're scoring like 6 runs a game before conference play, like that's really concerning. Because you know that number it's going to be tough to maintain that number that you had pre-conference in the SEC. South Carolina is making the game against Oklahoma as well. It's only 7-5 Oklahoma now. We got a review in the Tennessee game. I'm trying to find a way to keep hope. I mean, Canes, I told you, like, these first 3 series, if you get out of it 3-6, like you're not nearly as bad a shape as it feels like. But I get it's tough. Like, I'm not saying it's easy. And that was the fastest review I've ever seen with Tennessee Florida game. Dude, that was a super fast review. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like a 45-second review. It was actually really good. The bats we recruited are terrible. For any high school recruits watching this stream, playing time is available at Miami if you are a baller. Kane's plugging it. But I want the games to be competitive. This is a blowout. No, I get that. But again, I think Wake, when everything is said and done this year, from what they've shown so far, I think they're going to be like a top 8 team. Like certainly a top 10 team is the way they're playing right now. Like the offense is doing really well. The pitching staff, with Corey Mascara is going to be just striking out everybody, not walking anybody. So I just think, again, I think a lot of the ACC teams were very underrated going into the season, which is what we're seeing so far. Like look for Louisville wins. If they win the series this weekend, look for Louisville to be ranked. Look for Georgia Tech to be ranked if they sweep. Duke Stanford has started. Auburn Vandy is a final now. Auburn has beaten Vandy game 1. If they run rule us, that's 4 out of 5 games ending in run rules. Wake is going to be a national seed. Yeah, I mean, I think that's very, very possible. Maybe the SEC has a better review system than the ACC. Sure looks like it just from that one review. Was literally 45 seconds. Georgia's up now 12-6 on Kentucky, looking like they have pulled away enough to win this game. Top 9 for Tennessee strike out. They strike out the first batter. 2 outs left for Florida. And it just takes a fastball in the outer third for strike 3. Uh-oh. Florida crushes a ball, but they run it down. 2 outs. Tennessee about to be 18-0. What I like about Tennessee center fielder, too, is like he doesn't play deep. He had to run for that ball, and he made a great play on it. Tennessee's closer just throwing a casual 98 as well. Kansas 9, Baylor 1, bottom 8. Kansas is legit this year, man. We're going to swap over to Alabama and A&M after this Tennessee game. Yeah, just 97, 98. Kansas is good. Whoever the coach is has done a good job. Yeah, man, really good. Oh, man. Well, Florida's alive. Ground ball down the first base line. First baseman does a great job snagging it. Pitcher does not cover the bag. Pitcher's late as hell getting over there. Like, come on, man. Got to get over there. Now the tying runs at the plate for Florida. Like, you just... Mistakes like that, man. And then we just take, like, I'm like, what, Florida, like, we just take we're 0-1, and we just take a fastball right down the middle, bell tie for 0-2. And then just take another one right down the middle. Tennessee wins after we throw 2 pitches right down the middle and take them for strike 3. All right, let's find another one. Let's find the Alabama A&M game. Yeah, Dan Fitzgerald, Fitzy over there at Kansas is just doing a heck of a job. Like, they're doing a lot. They're doing really good recruiting the portal. Obviously, Fitzgerald was the pitching coach at DBU, and then he went to LSU. And then went straight from there 1 year to the head coach at Kansas, and he's done a great job. They've literally had the number 1 recruiting class out of junior college for 3 straight years. So, like, they're killing it recruiting JUCO players. Canes are going with Jake Dorn. Pray for us. Top 9, Alabama, A&M. A&M just struck out the leadoff batter. And they're making a pitching change, top 9 for A&M after you strike out the first batter. Only thrown 14 pitches, too. Interesting. Cal up 3-0 on Virginia, man. You're right, Zach. They like something's going on there. Let's look up this box score. Jay Wolfhook is still starting on Friday night for Virginia. Yeah, I mean, Jay Wolfhook right now not pitching well. He's given up 3 hits in 1 2/3, 2 walks, no strikeouts. Only 2 earned runs, so the error was made as well. Throwing error by Virginia. And you look at Cal's lineup and you're like, that shouldn't be happening. Like, look at their starting lineup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters that are hitting 268 or lower in their lineup. So that's concerning if you're Virginia, right? Because Cal's offense has not been very good. Let's look at Virginia's stats on the year. Wolfhook has pitched well, though. He's pitched really well this year. He's got a 2.3 ERA, 5 walks in 19 innings, 19 hits, 25 strikeouts. Let's look at Evan Blanco has made, it looks like they're throwing him on Sunday maybe or Saturday. He's done pretty well. Again, it's one of those teams you look at and they're doing well. They're not hitting any home runs. They have 13 home runs in 15 games, which is concerning offensively. They've scored 116 runs in 15 games, so they're averaging right at like 7 runs per game, which is fine. But if you look at their numbers as a team, you're thinking they're better. They're playing better than a 10-5 team. But numbers aren't everything, right? So A&M makes a move. They take out a guy who has thrown 14 pitches, gotten all 4 hitters out, struck out the leadoff hitter of the ninth, and then the guy they just brought in, Caden Wilson, goes 3 straight balls. Now he throws a strike. But they're playing the left-on-left matchup. Gets the out. Good recovery by Caden Wilson. Goes 3 straight balls and then answers back, throws 3 straight strikes. Wow, they're making another pitching change here. A lot of pitching changes. Interesting. One last out for Alabama before they have to throw up a 0 the next inning. How's Miami doing, guys? What's the score now, Canes? Is it 7-0 still? Oh my gosh. Alabama just hits a go-ahead home run. I mean, again, this is what I'm talking about. It's like this over... Like, wait. I'm trying to figure out what the reasoning is for this. Like, it's right on right. You bring in a sidearm guy who's going to have heavy run and sink against a right-handed hitter. Oh my gosh, Alabama just hits another home run. Back-to-back home runs to take a 2-run lead. Like, why are you throwing a slider? Man, why are you throwing a slider to a right-handed hitter there? You should be pummeling him with right-handed sinkers. Pummeling him. And then you... like a strikeout pitch, you throw it, like, get him to chase off the plate. But like, just so you guys know, a right-handed sidearm guy, his slider, if it's hung, is crushed. It's crushed. And that's exactly what the first hitter did. And then you leave him in against a righty, which is a or against a lefty, which is a terrible matchup. You talk about playing matchups, a right-handed sidearm guy is a terrible matchup for a left-handed hitter because the fastball will just run right back into his barrel if you leave it over the middle of the plate. It's like you can't miss it as a left-handed hitter. And now they're down 2 runs. It just makes no sense, man. It just makes no sense. And the other thing is this, like, you're basically when you're making those, and now they just give up another hit up, and the guy overruns it. And like the thing is this, like it's almost like A&M was playing for. It's like A&M was playing to win the game in the bottom of the 9th, and it's like you can't really do that. And now they're about to make another pitching change, it looks like, because this, I mean, like this is 101 stuff, guys. This is 101 stuff. This isn't like a graduate level class. This is 101. Like you play the stuff. And the stuff from a right-handed sidearm guy is you hammer right-handed sinkers, start at middle of the plate and have it run in to the inside part of the plate. It's like it's almost impossible for a right-handed hitter to hit that, to get underneath it and drive it. If anything, they may hit a hard ground ball. But when you call a slider like that, and it's not like a strike and swing situation, you cannot leave it over the middle of the plate. And it was just like perfectly hung. Wake's going to have a rested bullpen for the doubleheader tomorrow. But what I will say this, Zach, there's a saying in baseball, like it's very, very hard to sweep a doubleheader. Like those doubleheaders are almost always splits. So that bodes well for you guys, especially if you win game 1. You win game 1, then it's like, if you split, fine, but like you got a chance to win it. But yeah, man, I mean, that was, again, like you guys heard me saying it, I'm like, why are we making so many pitching changes? The right-handed pitcher that was started the inning just blew a guy away, looked dominant, and then you're playing the matchups like it's a big league bullpen. You're playing the matchups like it's a big league bullpen, man. And this is what you see happen in the college game sometimes is you see like guys try to game plan and strategize like it's a big league team and what they do in the big leagues. But the reality is like, it's not a big league team. I mean, you had Alabama down to 2 outs. And you just didn't have to make that change because they had a lefty coming up next, right? Like, if you're going to bring in the right-handed sidearm guy to play a matchup, like, at least make it to where there's not another lefty coming up behind that guy. All right, they get out of the inning, but now they're down by 2 runs. Like, man, that's rough, man. Like like I said, man, you bring in a right-handed sidearm guy against a right-handed hitter, just pound him in with slider or sinkers. Just pound him in with sinkers. It's almost impossible to hit because really, like if you think about it, the only thing that can't happen there is you give up a solo shot. And the one pitch that a hitter has the best chance of hitting out is a hanging slider from a right-handed sidearm guy. Because it's going to have no horizontal movement. It's going to have a hump out coming right out of his hand. You're going to see it instantly. Because think about it, guys. Your release point's right here. Right? If you're releasing up here, it's a lot harder to see that hump out of the hand. For a hanging breaking ball, you can still see it, but it's a lot more difficult to see unless they hang it big time. From a sidearm guy over here, if you hang it, you see that ball at release come up like this. It's just like you pick it up right out of the hand. And he did, right? He just looked like he saw that instantly out of the hand. There was no freezing. There was no like a little bit out front. He just crushed it. And then you throw a sinker to the left-handed hitter, which is like the worst pitch you can throw him as well. And again, there's no best pitch against a left-handed hitter with a right-handed sidearm guy because like the slider is not going to be nearly as effective because the slider is effective against a right-handed hitter because if you do locate it well, like it's tough to lay off. But against a lefty, the fastball is a terrible pitch because it's so easy for a lefty to get that on the barrel. Because if guys are habitually late, if it's a four seam, it's going to jam him. If it's a two seam, it's got that extra movement. So it's going to run, instead of jamming him, it's going to run right back into that barrel. And that's what it did. And now you're starting to see a little bit why A&M is struggling. And look, so this is a bad matchup here, right? It's like a sidearm guy for Alabama, but what does he do? First pitch, backdoor slider. He's not throwing the fastball, right? And I would just keep throwing that. I would just keep going right-handed. See? Keep going right-handed sliders. Because you can't bust a lefty in with a right-handed sidearm guy unless he... Because sidearm guys, it's going to be very tough for a sidearm guy to really command a pitch in. And if he misses, it's just going to get crushed. So like right here, I'm trying to either throw a back foot slider, get him to chase it, or I'm just going to try to go backdoor again. Either one's fine. You don't have a lot of options with a right-handed sidearm guy with the fastball against a left-handed hitter. So right here, I expect Alabama to go like backdoor slider or back foot slider, like, try to throw that slider in and get him to chase over top. Or you tell him like throw it way in, move his feet, and then you can go back to the slider. Okay, now he can go over the top too. Okay, so that works better. That's a great pitch right there too. Up and in, fastball. You moved his feet. Now you can go wherever you want. Now you have a lot of different options. Oh man. And then you hit a guy 0-2. Golly. And to be honest, I like the pitch call, but it's just a bad pitch by the pitcher. Like going up and in there, took a really uncomfortable swing on it the pitch before, but the guy just doesn't execute it. It's the right pitch call. It's a fine pitch call, but it just doesn't execute. This is like back-to-back lefties here. Lavalette here, I maybe make a pitching change here. You got to have a lefty up in the pen, right? When you know these guys are coming up. I don't like this matchup against Lavalette. I really don't like this matchup against Lavalette. I'm just saying that right now. And you have to go after him, right? Because you cannot walk him here. Now it's 2-0, but you cannot walk Lavalette here because then you got the winning run at the plate. Oh, that was a scary pitch. And I actually think it worked because it didn't have nearly as much run and sink as his usual sidearm fastball does. Had a little bit of ride on it. Oh my. How do you take that pitch? That's a 2-1 pitch that Lavalette should have unloaded on. The 2-2 offensive timeout. What are you going to tell him? Hey, 2-strike approach here. The only reason you really do this, and it has any kind of... We're watching A&M Alabama, Dusty. Dusty, you would be appalled if you saw what A&M did in the top of the ninth. 2 outs. They make a pitching change to a right-handed sidearm guy, and instead of pounding the guy with the right-handed hitter with sinkers under his hands, they throw a slider, hang it, bomb. They leave him in against a left-handed hitter, and they go 2-seam, middle in, bomb. They made 3 pitching changes in the top of the ninth in a tie game to play matchups, and the pitch calls were just not good. But now A&M's got a runner on in the bottom of the ninth with no outs, and it's a 3-2 count now. This is a dangerous pitch here for Alabama because I think you go backdoor slider here. I think you have to go backdoor slider. You cannot just give him a cookie fastball. You go backdoor slider and you hope you strike him out or you get a chase or something. It goes with the fastball, man. I'll say this: Lavalette is not looking good. Back to back with 2 outs in the top of the ninth, and it was like really over. They literally made the first pitcher of the inning struck out the first hitter. They take him out, bring in a lefty, gets the next guy, take him out. Oh wow, that looked like strike 3. That was a tight call there. Shoot, man. A&M, they may get away with it. They may come back here. Now, what is A&M going to do? You got your 3-hole hitter up. As a hitter in this situation, you have to know I cannot ground out. I cannot ground into a double play. I got to drive this in the air, right? Like as a hitter in this situation for A&M, you know I cannot ground into a double play. If I fly out, that's fine. But you're really like, and again, you're need Finitary in here. I don't think so, man. I doubt it. Let's see what Finitari's done on the year for Alabama. See if he's earning that NIL money. That was a tight ball call there by all right, let's see here. Dude, Finitari's got 1 start. He's only thrown 5 innings. Making that much money. He's thrown 5 innings. He's got a 1.6 ERA. He's given up 7 hits in 5 innings. Oh my gosh, I just messed up. Oh my gosh. Double play for A&M. Or double play for Alabama. And just bad base running. Bad base running, man. You got to freeze, man. You got to freeze. Freeze or go back. That's right. But if you freeze, you're fine. Now you just can't give up a home run. Now you just cannot give up a home run. But Finitari's got, I mean, he's pitched 5 innings, so man, just the hopes go out the window with that double play. You're just like, oh, we lose now. I still don't like this matchup. I mean, A&M's got a lot of left-handed hitters. Why teach fundamentals when you can post to Instagram? That's true. Yeah, for real. Man, I'm kind of like surprised that Alabama. I don't know if they just don't have any lefties they trust in the bullpen, but like this righty sidearm guy who he will go over the top some, but he's mostly sidearm. I don't like the sidearm matchup against left-handed hitters. I just think it's like the worst possible matchup you can have. This is one of those like post-game Twitter posts on A&M's Twitter that like the comments are going to be insane. At least he had his oven mitt on. That's right, Dust. What's the next game we're watching, guys? What's the next game? I'll look on the list. Duke Stanford. I know Duke's up 1-0, I think. A&M's got life. A&M's got life. Runner scores. Wait. How does he not score there? How did they? How does the runner not score with 2 outs? And the right fielder is super deep, has no momentum going home. Wait. What am I watching? What am I watching, Dusty? Did you see that? I get it. You don't want to, like, you obviously, like, if you think it's going to be close, you can't send him, but there's no way that should have been close. The outfielders are basically, in this point, should be in no doubles, because that runner on first is the one that matters. So a double, you just can't have a double score. And you're probably in no double situation. And they had to, like, looking at the depth of the outfielders and where they're playing, you're in no doubles within that single. So there's just, how are you not scoring there as a base runner? Like, Kyle, can we hire you at Miami? Oh, Canes. How much would it cost with the cost of living down here? I don't know. Talk to my agent. But it is weird, man. Like, you're just seeing some of this stuff where you're like, how is this happening at like the game management? Like, what you see is you see guys that just over manage, right? And I think that's what happened at the top of the ninth. Like, you're overthinking it and trying to do way too much, and it costs you two runs. And then you're seeing just base running stuff where you're like, what is going on? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, we're just seeing this every time we do these and we're watching games. You just you just see it in every game. This guy's been the best hitter, freshman Terrence Keel. Like, he's raking. He's hitting like 440. He's got 3 hits tonight, I think. That's right. And you're 2 strikes, man. You're just put the ball in play. Hope for a good result. And Alabama wins it, man. Golly, dude. Big win for Alabama and the Rob Vaughn and the boys. A&M put up 11 hits, but only scored 4 runs, man. Like, what's up with A&M's offense? What is up with A&M's offense? They're just not scoring runs. All right, let's see what else is. Let's check the Virginia Cal game, because Cal is up 3. Was it 3-0 on Virginia? Yep, 3-0. What is this camera on the Cal Virginia game? Virginia's only got 2 hits through 4 innings. Let's go to the Wake Miami game. I just want to see what the pain level is, and I just want to see what the pain level is going to be in that Miami post game space. It's just insane, though. These things you see happening, man. Like A&M, just like that was just like A&M just lost that game. Like, they just gave it away, like trying to do too much. They have a good opportunity to tie the game, and you come up with no outs and runners on first and second. You got to be you cannot get jammed. Like, you got to be out front underneath. I want you to watch some of our IBs. I'll watch them. I just get surprised, man. Like things that shouldn't happen are happening way too much in college. Man, 7-0. Too bad it's bottom 8, Kane, so I'll only get to watch potentially 3 at bats. Check something here. Like, can you guys hear that in the Miami game? Like, a guy just hits a routine fly out to center field, and like you can hear Wake's dugout all screaming like it was a home run. Stanford Duke game. Yeah, let me check. Yeah, well, go to the Cal Virginia game too. It was like, oh my gosh, this Duke Stanford camera. And this is the stuff you're talking about, man. Like, why is Stanford have this? This is their camera angle. Why is this Stanford's camera angle? That should be like a prerequisite to be in the ACC. I gotta change this music. This is just absolutely abysmal. Falling asleep. Like, why does Stanford have this angle? You can't even see the game. It's unwatchable. And Stanford's like a national powerhouse. How is this the angle you got? All right, we're back. Okay. What did I miss? Yeah, I can't watch this Duke Stanford game. Like, you can't watch it. Let me see if the Cal Virginia angle is. Look at the Cal. We are officially concerned about Miami. Dude, look at the Cal Virginia camera as well, Dusty. Why do these two, and again, like this goes to like part of the reason why the Pac-12 just deteriorated like it has. How are these two programs, or like it did, like why are these the camera angles you're getting on a Friday night in the ACC? Yeah, these angles are so bad. We just got to watch like Miami Wake Forest and like the, you know. All right, let's do a refresh of all the live scores. I can't get over that, ain't it? I can't get over some of the stuff I'm seeing in college baseball, man. Just like totally overthinking things. North Carolina losing to Louisville. Let's look at that box score. And we've talked about on here, like Louisville has played very well. So like they're like I think a lot of people thought this was going to be like a tight series because Louisville has played very well. So Louisville scored 1 in the first, 2 in the third, 5 in the fifth, and then were shut out the rest of the game, but that was enough. North Carolina made 2 errors. So we'll look at this box score. I just missed that. Did Miami just pick off down 7-0 with 2 outs in the 8th? Did they just pick off? Dusty, what's going on? First baseman just flat-footed. First baseman super flat-footed. But why are we picking off with 2 outs in the 8th when we're down by 7 runs? Yeah, I mean, and I'm guessing that's probably like I doubt that was called from the dugout. Like that's a this umpire's got a really tight zone too. Holy cow, those last 2 pitches look like strikes. All right, so yeah, DeCaro for North Carolina went 3 2/3 innings. Only through 67 pitches and 3 2/3, 3 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. I've told you guys, like the one thing about DeCaro that's concerning is he's not really missing a lot of bats, like way less strikeouts than innings pitched for like a frontline ace in college baseball. And same thing tonight, almost 4 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. So he throws strikes, man. But like when you give up a lot of contact in ACC, you're going to give up runs. Forbes for Louisville, who's their ace. Yeah, but then you give up a run. I mean, that's what happens, man. You make bonehead plays. Like you're down by 7, you try to pick off a base runner, you throw it away. That's just what happens when you do stuff like that. Forbes for Louisville went 4 innings, 2 hits, 89 pitches in 4 innings, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. He struck out a lot of guys, but walked 4 guys. But the back end of the bullpen did really well. 4 innings of no-run baseball. But the difference in the game, North Carolina gave up 1 unearned run. 1 unearned run. So that's Louisville wins because North Carolina's defense gives away a run. Wow. That's just another example, guys. Like, You're down by 7 in the 8th. You've got 2 outs. You're facing a left-handed hitter, so you have a matchup advantage. And you're a left-handed pitcher, so guys probably not going to be stealing anyway. So why are we trying to pick a guy off? It's actually just like textbook. Again, it's baseball 101. It's not like a graduate level class. You know, it's not a PhD level class in baseball. It's just like 101 stuff. And that was the same thing in the A&M game. Right? They played matchups, but they didn't pitch to the matchup. They didn't pitch call to the matchup. And I don't want to assume, but I'm guessing it was like we're looking at the scouting report. And it says he struggles with right-handed sliders. And it's like, well, is that a over the top slider? Is that a sweeper? Is that they have all these names for them now, we just called it a sweeping slider, but now it's a sweeper and they act like that's like a new thing. No, we just called it a sweeping slider. And it's something like that, man. Cause I'm just like, there's no reason to throw a slider early in a count to a right-handed hitter from a sidearm slot. There's not, unless you're like, if you're Josh Hader, if you're Josh Hader and you're facing a lefty, it's all right. If you ain't Josh Hader, let's just play by the book. And Josh Hader is actually a strange sidearm guy because he doesn't get a lot of. It's like a sidearm four seam with a lot of ride. But when you're a sidearm guy with a lot of run and sink, like you just throw sinkers underneath the hands of the right-handed hitter. He's going to jam himself and hit it on the ground. All right, so let's watch these at-bats for my boy Canes. Someone scan the QR code. Love you guys. What games is everybody watching right now? Yikes. It's a bad at-bat from Gonzalez. I mean, you get a left-on-left changeup. Ball started in. And again, this is the thing. It's like you have to recognize the arsenal of the pitcher. And if he's throwing a fastball with run, and that means his changeup's going to run. So what you have to do is you have to tell yourself, like, anything in or third is going to be a ball. Anything in or third that's not a slider is a ball. Right? So as soon as you see something released in or third, you're immediately switching to making sure it's not a slider. Yeah, that just wasn't a good at bat. It just wasn't a good at bat. Tell you what, he's got some bat speed. I mean, you can tell why Cuvée. I mean, he's got lightning hands. Last 13 games, he's crushing it. He's not hitting for as much power as you would think right now. Again, at Miami, it's like one of the few parks in the ACC now that it's just not really a hitter's park. And the announcer's right. Like, the Cuvé's the hitter in the lineup, that, especially with Miami's lineup, you're just like, yeah, we're not going to give him anything to hit. Now, when you're up 8-0 and there's nobody on base, like, you're going to go after him because solo shot, who cares? But Cuvée, the issue for Cuvée right now is there's not really much protection in the lineup for him. You're just not gonna pitch to him. Graham, what's up, man? How you doing? And that's a good example there, Cuvée strikeout. So a lot of hitters, what you find, like big time in high school, but even a lot in college, they assume 3-2, they're getting a fastball, right? They assume 3-2 is like he's got to throw a fastball here, and that's just not the case, right? Like you cannot have that approach because that right there is what happens. You get a breaking ball. It's a hung breaking ball too. But you're so far out front because you think, oh, I'm getting a fastball. Oh, wow. And like the best saying I ever heard about a 3-2 approach is from Ichiro. And he would always tell guys 3-2 is 2-2. And what he means by that is like the same approach you have 2-2, two-strike approach, have to be ready to fight off anything. That's the approach you have to have 3-2. Especially like at the college game now where they're throwing so much off speed. Yeah, good, great instincts by the third baseman from Wake Forest because he knows they're on that ground ball. I'm not throwing this guy out. If I let it go, it maybe goes foul, and then we're good. So great play there by the Wake Forest third baseman. Again, it's an 8-0 game. Who cares? But just shows he's got an IQ. He's got baseball IQ. Because most college third basemen are trying to make like a highlight reel ESPN throw, and even though they have no chance throwing a guy out on a slow developing ground ball like that. And again, that gets back to Wake Forest is well coached. They're well coached. And I like that take. You know, I mean, when you're down 8-0 in the ninth with 2 outs, like you better just try to get a walk. Like you need base runners. And you work the walk. You don't swing at that 3-1 pitch. You make him throw another strike, and he walks you. Top 5, Duke's still up 1-0. Okay. Duke's getting some pitching, man. And Miami's definitely in taking a strike mode. So, guys, in this situation, starting out in the ninth and probably in the eighth too, when you're down 7-0, 8-0, like you're telling your hitters, all right, we're taking until we get a strike because like we're just hoping a pitcher's going to walk us. And that's the ball game. Wake improves 4-0 in ACC play. The only, well, I guess if you now Florida State's undefeated, like the teams that have just started ACC play. But Wake Forest is the only undefeated team who's in their second weekend of ACC play. All right, now I have to motivate myself to watch this Duke Stanford camera angle. I mean, Duke Stanford or Cal Virginia, but like the camera angles are absolutely atrocious. I mean, these camera angles are just so bad. Sorry about that. I think one thing we're learning is that Stanford's got a pretty legit pitching staff. Again, giving up one run, 4 1/3 innings here. Like, it looks like Stanford's got some pretty legit arms. I mean, North Carolina beat them 11-1 on Saturday, but then on Sunday they've got a guy throwing mid to high 90s. Like, Patrick, I agree. SEC and ACC broadcast are much better. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I think it's got to be a prerequisite if you're in the ACC. Like, you got to have a better camera angle on this, because like no fans want to watch from this camera angle. It's like, it looks like a high school camera angle. And then you got like the really bad graphic in the top of the screen. That's just like literally looks like a middle schooler did it. Like, that's, I mean, you have to have a better broadcast in this. It's terrible. You can't even see the ball. You can't even see, like, you have no idea where the hitter hits it. You have no idea what the pitch is that's thrown. I mean, you can kind of tell if it's a breaking ball, but again, it's like, it's frustrating for me as a SoCal guy. Yeah, man. And again, it's like, no wonder players were, in-state players in Southern California, Northern California were leaving to go to the ACC and the Big 10 and the Big 12 and the SEC, because like they can't get their social media videos and Instagram videos to post on with these camera angles. I mean, how do you get hype in your Instagram feed if this is the angle, you hit a triple and like, hey, you post this thing, no one's liking that video. Especially when Stanford is ranked and so is UCSB. Yeah. Like, come on. And it's not that even Stanford's ranked. Stanford's like, besides last year, they've been one of the best teams in the country. So how, like, I don't get it, man. Like, it's tough to watch this. Like, I want to watch this game, but it's like tough to watch because you really don't feel like you're in the game. Like, you have no idea if it's going to be a strike. You can't tell if it's, if it's just off the plate, if it's down. Like, you can only tell if it's an off speed, if it's way slower, or you can see the movement on it. But again, like, you can barely even see the pitch. Let's actually look if Gracia's in the lineup tonight. That's something we need to look at. Is AJ Gracia in the lineup for Duke? If not, I think you're starting to think he might have been playing through an injury, and now he's like, I gotta get healthy. Let's look at this. No, Gracia's in the lineup. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Hitting 1-2. He's hitting 4th in the lineup. But if you look at Duke's lineup, guys, like, another thing that's scary is you look at Duke's lineup. Their pitching is doing great tonight, but like it has not done nearly as well as people have thought to start. But look at their lineup. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters hitting under 300. You have Berger hitting 283. You have Gracia hitting 164. You have Rounds hitting 258. You have Winslow hitting 250. You have Hyde hitting 209. And you have Johnson hitting 211. All right. While we're at break, we're going to swap over to the Virginia Cal game, see what's going on. All right, Z, you are going to get banned from the chat. Thank you for your services. I'm going to take that off the screen for a little bit. I'll pull up all your guys' chats, so don't worry. I will say this, Cal's angle looks like it's at least in HD. Cal's camera angle is much better. But so Cal's up 5-1 right now on Virginia. And Virginia's another team, guys, that like they were supposed to be one of the best offensive teams in the country, and they're really not scoring a lot of runs. I'll give it to Cal. Like, at least it's in HD. Stanford looks like it's in about 520p, and it's dark, and it's like further away behind home plate. It's like a mile away from the game. Cal's is at least like kind of on top of home plate, in HD, well lit. And Stanford gets out of the bottom of the fifth, so they're going to the top of the sixth. Let's go to the Stanford game. See what Stanford's offense can do. Stanford has a base runner on with no outs here in the top of the fifth. Or wait. Bottom of the fifth, sorry. Bottom of the fifth. See if I can like motivate myself to watch this camera angle for Stanford. And I also think Stanford, the interesting about Stanford is Rintaro Sasaki has been like okay so far. He hasn't hit for nearly the power that most people thought he was going to hit for out of the gate. So if he starts hitting for power, like that offense is instantly better. I'll pull up their stats. Yeah, so Sasaki has 3 doubles on the year, no home runs, which is very surprising. He's only slugging 367. I can't. I mean, it's like so hard for me to watch this game. Kyle, did you ever play in California? If so, how was the experience? Yeah, I played. I never like had a home team in California, but when I was in AAA in the Pacific Coast League, obviously I played in Fresno, Sacramento, um, played in Vegas, played in Reno, which Nevada. But yeah, I played in Fresno. I liked hitting in Fresno. I liked hitting in Sacramento, but I feel like that's not really. Obviously, that's like Northern California, so it's not Southern Cal. I've been to Southern Cal, I've been to LA once. Um, Traffic was not fun. Prices for everything were not fun. Um, but I know I thought I get why people love LA. I mean, it's beautiful. The weather's amazing, but everything else kind of sucks. Like like the scenery is amazing, the weather's amazing, but like driving 5 miles in LA is like it's like a 30-minute drive, but I liked Sacramento and Fresno, but Fresno's kind of like a dying city, man. It's like you're walking through a ghost town in Fresno when you're playing there. Because like we stayed in the hotel close enough to the field where like me and a couple of guys who like to show up early would just walk there, and you're kind of just like, does anybody live here? You know, but I liked the West Coast in general. Obviously, hitting on the West Coast, especially in like Nevada, and Vegas and Reno. Reno, I compared to like it was like hitting on the moon. The ball just flies in Reno. El Paso down in Texas, same thing. Loved El Paso. Just the stadium there is sick. The food is amazing. I love like Mexican food. I love it. And I always hit well in El Paso. But I only played in Sacramento, I think once, one series on the road, and then Fresno once on the road. LA's overrated. Yeah, I just think like, man, the prices for everything. I remember going to get sushi. I was there for like 4 or 5 days. And I remember like walking from my hotel to go get sushi. And like sushi is like kind of expensive, but I remember I got like a couple rolls, and it was just like a run of the mill, like normal average sushi place. The bill was like $50. And I just remember thinking like, how do people live here? And then you look at the housing prices over there, and I'm just like, man. Man, this drink thing is not leaking out every time I try to get a drink of water. Yeah, Fresno's agriculture. Yeah. It's yeah, I didn't see much around the Fresno area, but yeah, like the city itself in Fresno, it was just like you felt like you were like there was no fans at the games, and it was just like, this is a town that's been like, people left this town 20 years ago is what it felt like. It was just like, it's kind of like playing up in the Rust Belt, up in the International League, and some of those old cities up there that are kind of like, you're just walking around and you're just like, this is not a very populated city. Sacramento's a little different. Sacramento, you still felt like, okay, a lot of people live here. But Fresno, it was like, dude, there's like nobody lives here. It was like, it just felt like a ghost town. I'm in the suburbs of LA. It's super expensive. Yeah, man, dude, because obviously we work with a lot of clients on the West Coast, and I mean, it's crazy when you just look at the housing market over there. You're just like, it's like a 1,500 square foot house is like over $1 million. And in Atlanta, in a really nice, like just north of Atlanta, very nice suburb where like all the really well-off people live, you can get like a 4,000 square foot house for like $850,000, $900,000. So to me, I'm like, how do people live here? It's insane how just inflated the housing market is. Looks like a pitching change for Duke. Stanford is threatening. 2 outs, couple runners on. But yeah, Patrick, it's crazy. Like I played with a guy. Shoot, what was his last name? One of my favorite teammates, Johnny. I can't remember his last name. He was super fast. He was from Compton. He got up in the big leagues with Tampa Bay, like is kind of like a base stealer, defensive replacement type guy. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, houses in Compton, like you have houses in Compton that are over $1 million. You know, and Compton has that like, you know, it has like that connotation of like it's like a lot of gangs there and kind of dangerous. And he's like, dude, he's like, that's true, but there's still houses in Compton that are over $1 million. And I'm just like, that is insane. We have low A ball out near us. Angels and Dodgers have teams out here. Yeah, there's the well, like, is it low A now? I guess you have like Lake Elsinore. I never played in the Cal League or I forget what the low A league. Maybe because the leagues have changed now. Like a lot of the leagues that were high A when I was playing, like the Florida State League is now low A. The Carolina League is now low A. The South Atlantic League, which was low A when I played, is now high A. Looked like a base hit here. Stanford about to tie it up. Yep. Stanford ties it up. But yeah, I never played in the Cal League, and it's crazy because I was in the Carolina League, because the Carolina League and the Cal League were high A at the time, and the All-Star game was like the most prestigious All-Star game in the minor leagues besides like the AAA All-Star game, because it was the best players from the Carolina League against the best players from the Cal League. So you really had to have a great first half to be an All-Star, because it wasn't like two All-Star teams from the same league. It was the best from the Carolina League, best from the Cal League. And it was hilarious because we're playing in this All-Star game and they're announcing starting lineups and all this stuff. And the Cal League, because the ball flies so much better over there in the Cal League, this camera angle, they don't even follow the ball. The Cal League numbers were insane. Like they all had like 15 plus home runs. Like the best home runs on our side in the Carolina League was like 9 home runs at the half. So you looked at the numbers and you're like, holy cow, it must be nice to be over in the Cal League hitting. Like Corey Seager was on that team and he had like 16. Tony Kemp had like 5 and he was like not a power guy at all. Jesse Winker was on that Cal team. I think Carlos Correa was on that Cal team. Trevor Story was on that Cal team. And I actually got Carolina League MVP for the All-Star game. But there was a lot of really good players in that game. And it makes sense because it's the best of the Cal League versus the best of the Carolina League. It's not just like two teams from the same league. That's my last name. What, Elsinore? Compton Bab. Correct. Maybe I should take this starting soon caption off. Well, Stanford tied it up. Let's go over to the Virginia Cal game and see if anything's going on. Let's move to a slightly better camera angle. All right, Virginia's got something. Oh wait, no. Cal's got a runner on second base with no outs, threatening to score again. They're up 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th against Virginia. I got to cut out, but a sincere thanks, man. I'm just a dad of a high school player. I'm learning a lot from you. Yeah, hey, man. I appreciate you joining the stream, man. I appreciate you being a guy that comes in here all the time. Have a good night. Compton, okay. Oh my God. Virginia drops the ball at first base. I got to end the stream. I think one of my sons waking up, guys. All right. Have a good rest of your night.